Well, I had a very lucky donation to my channel and to my little air rifle collection. These three air rifles were presented to me just the other day by the same chap who gave me the other rifles that I've restored on my channel, and he said if I could do anything with these, then I was more than welcome to have them, and I'm very pleased to have them. So what we have here is, on the bottom, this one, that's a Webley Junior. Again, that's a boy's rifle, really. Then we have a Milbro Model 16, which is also a boy's rifle. And most interesting for me, anyway, out of this lot, is the one at the top. This is a Harrington Gat air rifle, and just works on exactly the same principle as Gat pistols, but obviously it's a rifle, so that's unusual. And in this video, we're going to be concentrating on the Webley Junior. The Webley Junior air rifle. It's quite tricky finding out much about these. As far as I can tell, they were made from the 1940s to the 1960s, so it's going to be a 60-year-old air rifle. At its newest, it could even be older than that. Pretty reasonable condition. I mean, it's going to need a lot of work. There's almost no finish left on the stock, but it does seem to be complete. Certainly from the outside it's complete. Obviously we haven't had it apart yet, so we don't know what's inside. Another good thing, having a quick look on the net, spares are readily available. Pretty much everything, seals, springs, etc. So it's a very basic break barrel spring pad air rifle. About the only thing that I can see it's missing is the tip of the front sight, so we'll have a look at that. But let's go down the length of it and have a closer look. The wood seems to be in nice condition, actually, apart from the fact that there's no finish on it. But other than that, it seems to be okay. We've got the trigger and the trigger guard. It does cock and fire, but there's almost no pressure there at all. There's almost no air coming out of it. So I think we'll need to do some things to it. Let's close in on that a little bit better. So obviously there's quite a bit of corrosion on the air tube and the barrel. Nice to see the rear sight there. These screws I put in either side are just ones I put in so that I can actually use it, try cocking it, because the originals were missing. But I might have something suitable in my stock of air gun spares. Get down to the end of the barrel there. Yeah. Fairly certain there should be a little ball on the top of this pin here on the front sight, but I'm sure we can remedy that. That's the other side. I think at least one of the screws that's in the trigger guard is the rear one is not original. I think the screws that hold the cocking lever and the pivot point are, so that's good. So there we go. We'll have a look at the top too. The markings are actually quite clear. The Webley Junior, Webley and Scott, Birmingham, made in England. So I can't find a serial number on it yet, but that may become apparent when we take it apart. Now these are very simple air rifles, so there's very few parts to them. So we're going to take the trigger guard off first. Hopefully get these screws out. That one is the non-original, which is obviously just been shoved in there to hold the trigger guard in place, I think. There we go. Now I've already had a go. This one is all graunched up, and I had to use the mole grips to move it. I couldn't use a screwdriver, so we're going to have to replace this anyway, so I'm not too bothered about damaging it. But it is loose, so that's good. So, I don't know whether this is a bolt and it goes into the receiver. It might be part of the mechanism that holds the receiver into the stock. I don't know. But it's very tight. Whatever it is, it's very, very tight. But it is coming. I think it is. I think it is screwing it actually into the receiver. So let's tighten this up a bit. I'll do this off camera. This is boring to watch this. I think we've got it. Ah, yes, it is a bolt. So it's yeah, it definitely is part of holding the receiver into the stock. So now move up to these, which I put in, so they shouldn't be loop tight at all. The stock should come away once we get these out. Let's come back out of it. So this should now pull away from the stock. There we go. So there we go. There's the stock. A few cobwebs in there, but yeah, not too bad. Put that out there. There. And that's basically the internals of the actual rifle. Very, very simple. I don't know whether there's any pre-tension on the spring, but I think that's obviously, that there is the main spring retaining screw. So we'll take these two off next. I don't know if they're tight or not. That one is turning. That's loose. Let's try that. Yeah, they're coming off. They're coming off okay. They, that's good. There doesn't appear to be any damage to these screws either, which is nice. That's the nut. I don't know whether that's actually threaded into the other side. It probably isn't. There's the bolt. And just keep going with this one. And that. Right, this should all come apart now with a bit of luck. Right. There we go. Ooh, right, so there's some old grease on it by the looks of things. So yeah. It's also got that. I'm assuming this whole bit pulls out. We'll leave that for the time being. This is a bit mucky. So this is the main part of the rifle. You can clearly see the spring. It looks like there's a screw in there holding the locking lug, and yeah, so I don't know whether there's any preload on the spring, so that'll be the next thing. We remove, well, we can take the trigger spring off initially, and then take that apart. Let me just clean my hands up a little bit. Well, this screw seems to just be the trigger retaining screw. Pull the trigger assembly out. So, well, this rear cap just tapped off. It was only pressed in there, and it appears in order to disassemble the rest of it, you need to compress the spring slightly and then rotate this spring follower to release this tab, and then it should come out. Let me close in on the tab so you can see what I'm talking about. Yeah, I think it's this tab that locks the whole thing in place. So hopefully I can do that on the drill press with a bit of luck. Well, here it is disassembled. My assumption was correct. You basically have to rotate this sleeve until that little tag removes itself from that notch, and the spring is under pre-tension, so I basically used my drill press to, with some drifts, spacers and that, just to compress it slightly, and then gently tap that around until that was free. And then it was actually tight. I had to put it in the vise and just gently tap it. But once I'd freed this piece up, yes, it all sprung apart. It did spring apart, but it wasn't too violent, because there's not an awful lot of pre-tension on it. So yeah, there's the basic parts. You've got the end cap, you've got this locking sleeve, the spring follower, the spring, and that basically is the piston, and that is what remains of the seal. So it's all fairly disgusting and filthy. Let's have a quick look at the end of the actual piston itself. Yeah, so I'm going to get it all cleaned up, and obviously the inside. Go back around. There we go, yeah. Little screw here, which I think will allow me to take the locking lug out. And then I can clean up the air tube and clean it all up completely. And then hopefully we'll take that down to bare metal and blue it. Same with the barrel assembly. But yeah, very, 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 very basic. And as I said, there are spares available. I have found some place that sells seals and springs. The breech seal also, I think, is going to need doing. It's pretty awful too. So yeah, next stage, clean up.